So we've all used AI, right? Like a tool. You type something in, you get something out, simple.
Right, command and response.
But there's this quieter shift happening. Something, well, more profound, I think.
Definitely.
What if AI isn't just about, reacting to your prompt? What if it starts to understand who you are, your needs, your whole environment, even before you type anything?
That's the core idea.
Yeah. So today, we're really diving into this thing called context engineering. We want to figure out how it's reshaping our whole relationship with AI. Okay, let's unpack this.
Sounds good.
Because that big shift, the one taking AI from just a basic utility to something more like a thinking partner, one that actually gets your goals, your world, maybe your learners.
Exactly, adapting to you.
That's being driven by this context engineering. It feels like it goes way beyond just prompt engineering, which is what most of us know.
Oh, absolutely. It's a different level.
See, prompt engineering, that's mostly asking, okay, what magic words do I type right now to get a decent answer?
Yeah, the immediate input.
But context engineering.
Yeah.
It zooms way out, doesn't it? It asks a much bigger sort of strategic question.
It does. It's asking.
Like, what background stuff, what essential info should I load into the system first?
Right. Preloading.
So it just knows what matters. To me, my students, my specific setup, even before I start prompting.
Precisely. So it has the necessary framework already in place.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive seems pretty clear then. We need to explore what context engineering actually is, why everyone's saying it's such a game changer.
And how it's already being used, right?
Yeah, exactly. How it's changing things, especially in fields like, say, education or instructional design. Those seem like key areas.
They really are. And what's so fascinating, I think, is how we're shifting from just like giving instructions to actively shaping the AI's environment. Context engineering. Fundamentally, it's about embedding structured background knowledge, reusable knowledge.
Structured, reusable. Okay.
Yeah, directly into how you interact with the AI. So you're not just giving it that one command.
Right.
You're actually building a persistent kind of intelligent space for the AI to work within.
Persistent. I like that.
Yeah, it's much like how you'd brief a new team member really thoroughly, right? Or maybe a teaching assistant before they start. Give them all the background.
That analogy, briefing a new team member, that really clicks. Makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it?
But okay, for someone who's maybe just focused on writing clever prompts up till now, what's the biggest, mental leap to really get into shaping this environment? Is it super technical, or is it more about changing how you think about it?
I'd say it's definitely primarily a strategic mindset shift. Yeah. So instead of just that one-off, hey, write me a lesson plan.
That's a good example.
The classic, yeah.
Yeah.
You might actually upload your entire curriculum framework or, preload specific learning goals for different students.
Wow. Okay.
Or even define your preferred teaching style. Maybe you favor a certain learning design method.
Like you could tell you prefer project-based learning or something.
Or you could even give it examples of what you think are good outputs versus bad ones. You're basically teaching it your standards.
So you're training its judgment almost.
You are. It's all about front-loading that intelligence, getting it set up right.
And that seems to be where the real nuance kicks in. I saw Stanford's AI lab.
CREFM? Yeah.
Right. They talk about this being key for task grounding and alignment.
Grounding it in reality.
And think about this. Some studies show that if you don't engineer the context properly, AI outputs can need 50% more revision to actually be useful in a specific field.
50%?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. It is. So it's not just about spitting out text. It's about getting actionable text, high quality stuff that really cuts down on all that back and forth editing.
Getting it closer to right the first time.
Exactly. Or at least much, much closer.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've kind of got the basic idea, how is this actually working out there? In the real world?
Good question.
Where are we seeing context engineering make a real difference? Maybe in classrooms or how courses are built?
Well, take adaptive lesson generation. That's a great example.
Okay.
A teacher could, say, upload their schemes of work, right? Their lesson plans, maybe their preferred teaching approaches, and even specific data on where their students are at, their readiness levels.
Right. Differentiated needs.
Precisely. And then the AI can design tasks that are really tailored. They fit the prior lessons. They fit individual student needs.
So it's not just making any lesson plan.
No.
It's making your kind of lesson for your actual students.
That's the goal. Highly personalized.
That's powerful. Yeah. What else?
Well, think about AI marking. or grading.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Huge. So instead of just a generic command like mark this essay.
Which could mean anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine engineering the context by feeding it the specific rubric you use.
Okay.
Examples of past student work, maybe anonymized, of course.
Yeah.
And even detailed examples of what a good answer looks like versus, common mistakes or misconceptions students make.
Ah, so it learns the patterns of error, too.
Exactly. This makes the AI's marking way more consistent, potentially fairer.
More reliable, basically.
Much more reliable and efficient. It becomes a tool you can actually trust more.
That does sound incredibly useful, especially for consistency, maybe at scale.
Yeah.
But what's the catch? What's the biggest challenge for, say, a teacher or maybe a whole school district trying to gather and prep all that context?
Right.
Does it just take a massive amount of upfront time? Is that the barrier?
Well, it definitely requires an initial investment, yes. You have to define those parameters, gather that info, no way around that. But here's the thing. Once that context is engineered, it's reusable. It's scalable.
Ah, so build it once, use it many times.
Pretty much. You're essentially building a knowledge base.
Yeah.
And that lets the AI do complex tasks again and again with much better accuracy.
Okay, that makes the upfront effort seem more worthwhile.
That goes even further. Think about synthetic educators like AI avatars or voice assistants.
Uh-huh. The digital tutors.
Yeah, exactly. We're now seeing systems where these agents respond based on a preloaded identity, a defined role, specific script logic.
So they have a personality or a set of rules they follow.
Sort of both. These AI agents aren't just randomly chatting. They're designed to teach or guide within a context you've meticulously defined. They behave like a consistent digital persona.
It's almost like giving the AI its own, employee handbook for how to act in your specific situation.
That's a great way to put it. An employee handbook or a personality profile for that specific job.
Yeah, and each of these examples, they really drive home the point, don't they? The real power isn't just in typing a clever prompt right now.
No.
It's in all that groundwork. Those engineered inputs, the environments you build, they actively shape how the AI thinks, how it processes stuff, and ultimately, what it gives you back.
You're essentially giving it a robust mental model to work from. A sort of foundational grasp of your specific world, your domain.
Right, a foundation. So, okay, let's bring this home for, say, instructional designers or anyone building e-learning, training materials, professional development.
Yeah, the L&D folks.
For us, context engineering seems like it could unlock totally new levels of personalization. And efficiency, too.
Big time.
Yeah.
Imagine creating a reusable context file for your projects.
Okay, what goes in that file?
Well, it could define your company's brand voice.
Yeah.
Right? Detailed learner personas you're targeting. Specific compliance rules you have to follow.
Okay, yeah. Legal stuff, accessibility maybe.
All of that. And even your preferred instructional frameworks. Like maybe you always use Gagne's 9 events.
A classic. Structure the learning experience.
Exactly. You put all that in your context file. Then you plug that context into whatever AI tool you're using. Could be ChatGPT, could be Gemini, whatever. Before you even start asking it to generate scripts or quiz questions or feedback ideas.
Ah, okay. You load the handbook first.
And the outputs you get back are going to be so much closer to what you'd expect from like a human designer who you'd briefed really thoroughly on the project.
Which should mean way less back and forth, less rewriting.
That's the promise.
Yeah.
Significantly less iteration.
It really feels like you're not just asking the AI to write something in, like a total vacuum.
Exactly. No vacuum.
You're giving it the kind of situated awareness, the background knowledge that human designers just have, or that you'd give them in a kickoff meeting. You're defining the who, what, where, why before you get to the how.
Well put.
And that upfront work in investing in the context, it really seems to pay off in the quality, the relevance of what the AI produces.
It absolutely does.
It takes AI from being just a general everything tool and turns it into a highly specialized assistant that actually understands your specific field, your needs.
A domain-aware assistant.
Yeah.
That's a good term for it.
Okay, so let's try and sum this up then. Our core message here. Context engineering. It's really not just another buzzword, is it? Or some minor tweak in how we use AI.
No, not at all. It feels much more fundamental.
Yeah, it feels like a fundamental, really strategic shift in how we even think about collaborating with artificial intelligence.
I agree. Ultimately, it's about shaping our AI collaborators.
Shaping them. Yeah.
Just like we'd onboard a new team member, like we said.
Yeah.
We're defining the environment, setting the parameters, giving them the foundational knowledge they need to work effectively with us.
So it's less about control, maybe, and more about enabling an intelligent partnership.
That's exactly how I see it. Yeah. Intelligent partnership.
And thinking about our listeners.
Yeah.
If you're an educator or you lead learning and development, maybe you design content.
Yeah.
This really feels like the moment, doesn't it? To start exploring how context can seriously improve how you use AI.
Absolutely. It's time to move beyond just basic prompting.
Because it's not just about getting, slightly better answers anymore.
No.
It's about getting results that are way more relevant, more aligned with what you actually need, and hopefully more effective, with a lot less manual effort in the long run.
Less rework, better outcomes.
Yeah.
That's the potential.
So here's something to maybe mull over.
Okay.
The better you define the environment for the AI, the better the outcomes you're likely to get.
Stands to reason.
So what does that mean for how you are currently approaching AI? What assumptions, what unwritten rules of your world are you still leaving out? What haven't you explicitly taught your AI partners yet?